Welcome back, students. This is me, your Dean, CountXevious. Thank you for all the love that you've shown us in our previous Go Battle League Ultra League video. Today, I'm really excited to present to you my Double Dragon strategy. The team that I'm using is going to be Empoleon with Hydro Cannon and Dropek, Dragonite with Dragon Claw and Hurricane, Kingdra with Outrage and Oxuka. Kingdra, according to me, is one of the safest swaps in the Ultra League, mostly because if the opponent has Lapras as a counter for the Dragon types, Kingdra is going to resist most of the Lapras's fast moves, charge moves, unless it's a Skull Bash or an Ice Beam, which will be neutral. This team is great for me because in most cases it flips a bad lead. So today I'm going to run you through all the matchups that I've faced. So game 1, Empoleon lead into Venusaur. This is a bad lead for us. So what I usually do is I throw one Waterfall and I swap immediately into my Kingdra. You notice that the opponent stays in. So this gives me an idea that maybe the only counter for Kingdra he has is the Venusaur. So I know that he wants to protect his Venusaur, so I'm going to go throw an Oxuka and hopefully get a shield. Now, what I want the opponent to do is to try and throw a move this way that my Kingdra is gone and I can come back with my Empoleon, use a shield and then farm down the Venusaur. Empoleon fits very well into this farm down bracket, mostly because it's very tanky and it has access to Dropek. So if there's an Empoleon counter, you can do either neutral or super effective damage to that Pokemon. So for example, here there's a Swampert, you're going to do neutral damage with your Hydro Cannon. So I throw the Hydro Cannon, immediately swap into my Dragonite. The opponent comes back with a Charizard. In the one shield scenario, I know that my Dragonite is going to win. But I was lucky to have a shield that we preserved by not shielding the Kingdra. So now I will be able to get the two Dragon Claws. Either I force the Charizard to shield, or I will be able to farm down the Swampert. So the Charizard shields and then throws a Dragon Claw. This is very good for us because we barely survive it, and then we can farm down the Charizard. So when the Swampert comes in, we just throw the Dragon Claw, and that should be able to kill the Swampert. Oh, it does not. Okay, this is best case scenario for us. It did not kill the Swampert, but then he decides to throw his energy. It was a CMP tie. The Empoleon comes in and does what it does best: cleans up Pokemon. Another bad lead, Empoleon into an Escavalier. You do one Waterfall and then you swap into your Kingdra. They bring in their Dragonite. I guess we were very unlucky here. I think if we were one Dragon Claw ahead, we would have been able to get to the Outrage on time. So we still do get the Outrage, and King, if they don't shield it, it's gonna knock out the Dragonite. Yeah, they shield. So we're at a considerable energy advantage here. So now I bring in my Dragonite because Empoleon has no play against an Escavalier. I'm going to shield the first one, it's an Area Daze, and try to farm as much energy as possible, but I see that he has 2 shields, so I'm going to try to burn as many shields as I can. So he brings in his Lapras. This is a good matchup for an Empoleon. You go straight Dropek. Yeah, straight Dropek. So at this point, I'm hoping the Lapras does not have a Skull Bash. If it does, this match is over. Especially with the Lapras having a shield advantage. What I noticed is that he did not commit the first shield when I threw my first Dropek. This shows that he does not have a Skull Bash, because Laprases that have Skull Bash will usually shield the first charge move, because after Skull Bash they'll get a defense boost, which means that they can tank a little bit more. So yeah, he brings in his Cavalier, I immediately swap into my Dragonite and I farm it down. So I know that I will be at a point where I can throw a Dragon Claw at Lapras. The Lapras throws a Surf. Oh, I shielded. I should not have shielded. I think I would have survived the Surf there and been able to throw the Dragon Claw and take the shield from the Lapras. Yeah, I think this is going to cost, shielding is going to cost me the match because this Lapras is not in Drill Peck range. Yeah, it barely survives and it's able to throw the Surf. If I had not shielded the, let's say, the Surf, I probably would have been able to have a shield for the Empoleon and kill the Lapras. Another bad lead. Yeah, this team is very good in flipping leads. So you do the same thing, one waterfall, swap into Kingdra. As I said before, this is one of the reasons why I like Kingdra as a safe swap over Dragonite, is that it's tanky, is really tanky, and you might be able to get a debuff, and you will, at points you don't have to shield your Empoleon, mostly because of this. Here I know that the Togekiss is at a Flamethrower, but I'm not going to shield because it was debuffed and it's neutral damage. I commit to farming down the Togekiss. So now I guess the opponent will want to bring in his Machamp, because Machamp is a very good matchup against the Empoleon. So yeah, I throw the Drill Peck and immediately swap out. Yeah. So what I want here the opponent to do is throw a Rock Slide, because Rock Slide is going to do about 70% of Dragonite's health, and then he swaps into a Venusaur. This is amazing for us, even with shield deficit. I think Dragonite has a very, very good matchup against Venusaur. Venusaur has to land 3 Sludge Bombs to take out my Dragonite, so I'm gonna let the first one go and shield the second one, because if he baited with the first one, then it would mean that I would have a better matchup. But now it's just, it's okay. He didn't bait with a Sludge Bomb. Probably he's going to go for a Frenzy Plant. Yeah, because that's what I would do. Throw the big move first and then bait in the second one. Yeah, and luckily I get to the Dragon Claw before he could throw his Sludge Bomb. And yeah, at this point I'm just gonna Dragon Breath down the Machamp. So the next game is against Frito. Let's see what Frito's got in store for us. Another bad lead. Empoleon into an obstacle. I just can't get leads anymore. So same thing, one waterfall, swap into Kingdra and hope for the best. So they swap in their Venusaur. This is amazing for us. And this is one of the cases where if they swap in a Venusaur, you just go straight Outrage. Because if you throw the Oxyuka and they don't shield, you don't have a win con. But if you throw an Outrage and they don't shield, you win. So now I've successfully flipped the match, and I'm not going to shield anything as the Kingdra against the Obstagoon. I'm just gonna let him throw his Night Slashes, and I hope I get to an Oxyuka. Yep, incoming Night Slash. This probably might just kill. Oh no, it does not. And he gets the boost. I throw the Oxyuka now, so boosted Obstagoon is going to be a problem, but we were lucky, we dropped the boosted Obstagoon's attack by 2 stages. This is hilarious because yeah, he got the boost, but then he lost the boost. So we're back to having a normal Obstagoon. This is very good for us, and I'm just not gonna shield anything at this point. I'm gonna throw Dragon Claw and see what he has at the back. Yep. Yeah, and the opponent has a Swampert. This is again a very good position to be in. This is the good part about the double dragon strategy, because people usually bring in their dragon counter to align on your Kingdra, and you have Dragonite at the back. As long as you get rid of the dragon counter, you should be very okay. So I swap in the Empoleon to catch the Hydro Cannon, and yeah, at this point I can just shield once and throw my Hydro Cannon and get the win. Yeah, there you go. Hydro Cannon, and this should KO the Swampert. I tried to do some fancy Hydro Cannon animation there. So this is another bad lead. Empoleon into Magnezone. Usually what you should be doing in this case that I've learned is push for the 2-shield scenario. You throw your Hydro Cannon, which the Magnezone has to shield, and you push it to the 2 shields. But here I made the mistake of swapping into my Kingdra, because Wild Charge is going to do quite a bit of damage to me. Even though Kingdra is very tanky and Wild Charge is going to be neutral, it will do a lot of damage. So I commit 2 shields and I hope for the best that they don't have a big Kingdra counter at the back. So they bring in their Snorlax. This is pretty positive for us because I know that I still have a chance in this game. So let's see how I play this out. Yeah, at this point I know that the Snorlax is almost at a 2 body slams, and he's going to throw a superpower now, I guess. This was very, very smart by the opponent, mostly because if he did not throw that superpower, I would have been able to get at least 2 more waterfalls onto the Snorlax. That would mean that I would have had energy already to throw a Hydro Cannon instead of having to wait for a while. So I throw the Hydro Cannon and and that was a CMP tie, unfortunately. So now I bring in my Dragonite and hope that he does not have a Dragonite counter at the back. Machamp is not a Dragonite counter, but unfortunately in the 0 shields, Rock Slide does quite a bit of damage. It's going to Rock Slide will probably take out my Dragonite, and that should be that. That's GG's. Very well played by my opponent, and if you have an Empoleon onto a Magnemite, please, Magnezone, please double shield. They'll have to commit 1 shield, throw your Hydro Cannon first, and then double shield, and you will win. So, same as before. If they swap in Machamp, I usually swap into my Kingdra because Machamp has access to Rock Slide, and with an energy advantage, Machamp beats the Dragonite. So I don't want that. So I'm gonna just let Machamp throw a bunch of cross chops at me, and I'm gonna throw the Otsuka at it. Yeah, so he shielded the Otsuka, his attack fell, so I don't have to shield another cross chop. But I did, mostly because I would have wanted to preserve my shield, I guess, my positive matchup with Empoleon. Yeah. Let's see what they bring in. They bring in a Venusaur, and again, as I told you guys earlier, just always outrage if the Venusaur shows up, because it's going to do a lot of damage, and yeah, it's going to put them in a pretty bad position. So I bring in my Dragonite, and yeah, this is pretty much over. Dragonite can take care of both Venusaur and Charizard at the back. But yeah, I'm just gonna trickle down the Charizard, and he has to throw because Waterfall does a lot of damage. The Blast Burn takes out my Empoleon, and I'm just gonna come into a farm down the Charizard, because I know that he will get to 1 Dragon Claw, but he does not have the energy to get to 2. And one Dragon Claw does not KO the Dragonite. So I throw the Hurricane. I don't know why, but just for, let's say, I had Hurricane energy, I was going to throw a Hurricane. That's about it. So next game, it's going to be a favorable lead. Empoleon against Togekiss. This is one of the best leads that you can have. So you stay in, and then they swap in their Venusaur. They immediately swap into Dragonite, and then, yeah. And then you can take this match. Even if your Empoleon is going to be at a shield disadvantage, it's going to beat Togekiss. So let's see, probably the Venusaur does not want to commit any shields and wants to come out of this matchup with a shield advantage. So I found the Venusaur down, and I know that the Togekiss is going to come back in. So I was hoping that I would be able to get to a Hurricane, but I didn't know that it was going to do that much damage. So he brings in a Swampert. This is again amazing for us. It might take 2 Earthquakes for the Swampert to kill us. If we have a shield, they need to throw 3. And yeah, it's a sludge wave. This is good. He did not bait. He just went for the sludge wave. I'm just gonna throw the Oxuka and hope that we get a debuff. We did not, but at this point I'm just gonna Dragon Breath it down. If it wants to throw another sludge wave, I'm going to let it. It doesn't really matter at this point. Kingdra's already done its job. It's put the Swampert to the red where I can farm down with my Empoleon. So the Togekiss has 2 shields. It doesn't matter because Charm doesn't do a lot of damage. So just to make sure that I don't lose due to some Charm landing on me out of nowhere, I'm always charging up to 2 Hydro Cannons just to make sure that I can throw 2 back to back when push comes to shove, like now. So yeah, I have 2 Hydro Cannons. I throw back to back. Even if Togekiss shields the first one, I'm going to be able to kill it with the second one. Yeah, and that's GG. So against Granbull, the thing is Granbull has access to close combat. So you try to shield once and then you can farm it down. But the Granbull switches into a Gyarados. I made a mistake, I guess, at this point, throwing an Otsuka. I should have gone straight for Outrage, as I have been preaching through the entire video. Unfortunately, I went for the Otsuka. Good read by the opponent that it was an Otsuka, and he did not shield. So I know that he has 2 crunches, so I'm gonna let this one go and come in with my Empoleon. So if this is a crunch, I think we pretty much threw this game. Yeah, it was a crunch. Yeah, there's no way back because my Dragonite is now going to be aligned with the Granbull, and there's nothing I can do here. It's an Escavalier. I swap into my Dragonite. He swaps into the Granbull, and it's going to be able to charm me down really, really quickly. Granbull has quite a lot of deck, and yeah. Yep, we can now watch my Dragonite die. I wanted to quit, but then I decided I'm gonna just give him the win, because he deserves it. So, this game we go up against, presumably bad lead, I guess. It's Gallade. So, I know that it takes 5 confusions to get to close combat. The opponent throws earlier, so I'm not gonna shield. Leaf Blade is going to be neutral because it's steel typing. And I'm going to farm a little bit more and then throw a Drill Peck. If the Gallade does not shield, this is going to KO the Gallade. Yeah. So he comes in with Machamp. Since I threw 2 extra waterfalls, the Gallade have been able to barely get to another Drill Peck. So the Machamp has to shield this, and I'm going to let the Empoleon go. I'm going to come in with my Kingdra, because as I said before, Dragonite has access to Dragonite's a flying type, so it takes super effective damage from Rock Slide, and with that energy advantage that the Machamp had, it would have been able to KO my Dragonite in the one-shield scenario. So he swaps in his Lapras. This is questionable because Kingdra can survive long enough to be able to throw an Outrage, and Outrage does a lot of damage to Lapras. So here I just decide to farm it down, or if I could get to an Otsuka, I would have stayed in, but I'm gonna save 2 shields for my Dragonite, and then I'm gonna Dragon Breath down the Lapras. So in comes his Machamp. His Machamp has not enough HP. I have 2 shields, so I'm not gonna throw any attack at the Machamp. And I'm just gonna farm it down, because if he shields, there's a possibility that he can throw 1 counter in that time, and he might get the energy to throw another Cross Chop or a Rock Slide after. Thank you all for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And if you have time, down in the comments below, let me know if you tried this team and how it went for you. Cheers. Bye.